A college student sells their plasma for $50. That same plasma gets sold to a billionaire for $8,000 to try to make them younger. Welcome to the modern anti-aging industry where poor people's bodies have become biological resource for the wealthy. The modern anti-aging industry started in 1889 Paris with desperation and pseudoscience. Charles Edward Brown Secord was a 72-year-old French doctor, terrified of dying. He believed youth came from sexual organs, so he did something insane. He killed young dogs and guinea pigs, removed their testicles, ground them up, mixed them with water, and injected it into his own arm. 3 weeks later, he announced to the French Society of Biology that he felt 30 years younger. His energy was back and his strength was restored. It was nonsense, likely just the placebo effect. But within months, wealthy men across Europe and America were paying the equivalent of $50,000 today for injections of ground-up animal glands. This wasn't medicine. It was fear turned into profit. By 1920, a surgeon named Serge Wernoff took this to the next level, surgically grafting slices of monkey testicles into aging wealthy men's bodies. He performed over 500 procedures. To supply these operations, thousands of monkeys were captured, castrated, and killed. For 5 years, patients claimed it worked. Then reality caught up. The monkey tissue was dying inside their bodies. What they had experienced was psychological. But the pattern was set. Wealthy, terrified people would pay any price to avoid death. The question was, what happens when the science actually starts working? During 1950s, Cornell University scientist Dr. Clive McKay made a discovery that would create an entire industry. He surgically connected an old mouse to a young mouse so their blood mixed. He called it parabiosis, living beside each other. Think of it like creating conjoined twins in a lab. He expected both to die. Instead, the old mouse started showing signs of becoming younger. Its organs repaired. Its brain worked better. Its muscles grew stronger. While the old mouse got younger, the young mouse started aging faster. Here is crucial context. Over the following decades, researchers tried to understand this. Results have been mixed and controversial. Some studies showed benefits, others failed to replicate findings. The scientific consensus today is that young blood might contain factors that help with aging, but we don't know which ones, how they work, or if they are safe in humans. But that uncertainty didn't stop people from turning it into a business. By 2017, those uncertain mouse experiments became a commercial operation. Dr. Jesse Karmazin launched Ambrosia. For $8,000, wealthy clients could get transfusions of blood plasma, the liquid part of blood, from donors under 25. But where was this blood coming from? Plasma donation centers that pay people to donate twice a week. Centers near college campuses, low-income neighborhoods, high unemployment areas. In some college towns, 40% of students regularly sell plasma just to afford food and rent. When demand outpaced supply, companies expanded to developing countries where people sell plasma for $5. In February 2019, the FDA issued a warning. No proven benefits, potentially harmful. The FDA warned that patients are being preyed upon by unscrupulous actors. Ambrosia stopped that day. But months later, Karmazin launched a new venture with similar treatments structured to avoid FDA oversight. The industry uses terms like therapeutic plasma exchange and regenerative medicine, but strip away the terminology. Poor young people becoming biological resource for wealthy old people. Tech billionaires have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in anti-aging research. Jeff Bezos funded Altos Lab. Larry Ellison spent over $400 million and once said, "That makes me very angry." Brian Johnson spends $2 million on anti-aging protocols. In 2023, he did plasma exchanges with his 17-year-old son. According to Johnson, his son volunteered. Johnson later announced he found no benefits from 6 transfusions and stopped. Which brings us back to Beijing, June 2025. Chinese researchers published in Cell Journal showing they reversed aging in monkeys using modified stem cells. Let me explain what they did simply. They took regular human cells, the body's repair cells, and changed the instructions inside them, like editing a recipe. They made cells that don't get old the normal way and can keep repairing tissues much longer. They injected these into old monkeys every 2 weeks for 44 weeks. Results? Better memory and thinking, stronger bones, less inflammation throughout the body, better reproductive health. Computer programs that analyze how old cells look said the monkey's cells looked 3 to 7 years younger. No tumors, no serious problems during the study. This is real, peer-reviewed science. Genuinely impressive. But here is what we don't know. Crucial context. The longest any subject was monitored is 2 years. We have no idea what happens over decades when you fundamentally alter how cells age. When cells become immortal, dividing indefinitely without aging, they start resembling cancer cells. The difference between helping you live longer and giving you cancer is often just about whether we can control how those cells grow or not. The researchers were careful and responsible, but the question remains, what happens to biological systems when we override millions of years of evolution? Every major power races to develop these technologies. Private companies conduct research with minimal oversight. Those funding the research are those who can afford to be first in line. So here is the real question. Not can we extend life, but should we? And if so, how do we ensure it doesn't create a permanent biological aristocracy? If life extension becomes possible but expensive, we create a permanent biological divide. The wealthy live centuries accumulating power while everyone else lives normal lifespans, becoming powerless. Economic models suggest that this could create the most unequal society in human history within generations. If some people accumulate power over centuries while others live normal lifespans, how do we maintain equality or democracy? If people stop dying, Earth's population could become unsustainable within decades. What's the ethical framework for who gets to live longer? These aren't hypothetical future concerns. The Chinese study shows technology progressing faster than our ethical frameworks. Decisions we make this decade shape whether life extension enhances humanity or divides it. After everything we have uncovered, the exploitation, the experiment, the inequality, the ancient obsession that drove emperors mad, let me ask you one final question. Is death really humanity's greatest enemy? Or is it possible that our mortality is what makes us human? The deadlines create meanings. The life's temporary nature makes it precious. Maybe the wise approach isn't eliminating death, but making peace with it while working to extend healthy years for everyone, not just the wealthy. Maybe instead of seeking immortality, we should focus on making our finite lives more meaningful, more connected, and more humane. The Immortality Conspiracy isn't about evil scientists or billionaire vampires. It is about whether we are honest enough to confront our fear of death, wise enough to handle the power we are creating, and compassionate enough to ensure that power serves humanity, not just those who can afford it. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.